Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting day of music theory. Today, we are going to be talking about 11.2 major scales and tempo markings. And then we're also going to go over 11.3, which is about repeat signs, and some additional vocabulary about how we roadmap music. So we're going to skip the top of this, which is about major scales. Don't worry about that for today. We do that every day in sight reading. But let's talk about some tempo markings. So tempo is a term used to describe the speed of music. At the beginning of each piece, there's often a word that will describe the tempo. And as we know, tempos can fluctuate and go slower and faster throughout the piece. So here are some just general tempo markings that you might see at the beginning of a piece, or in the middle of a piece for that matter. So largo, again, these are all Italian terms with an English definition. So largo means slow. Andante is a walking tempo. Moderato, easy, that's a medium tempo. Allegro is fast, and then presto is very fast. Whenever we're trying to move between tempos, usually we will have a word like the following. So accelerando, which can be abbreviated with ACCEL, means to gradually speed up. So that basically works like a crescendo or decrescendo, but tempo-wise rather than volume-wise. Retardando, rit or retard, usually, or that means to gradually slow down. A tempo literally means to return to the original tempo. Più means more. Mosso means movement or motion. So meno mosso, like minus, is less movement or slower. Un poco means a little. Molto means very. So you could have a molto accelerando, which means a very a gradual speed up that is very drastic. You could have a un poco retardando, which means a little bit slower, and then più mosso, meno mosso, more or less movement there. So we'll skip this little section here as well. That is back to some major scale stuff. Now let's talk about some repeat signs. So the first of these is the repeat sign, which is right here. So there are several marks that occur in music that tell the performer to repeat sections of the music. So we do this to save ink, to save paper, stuff like that. So we use these repeat signs pretty regularly in our music. So this is the repeat sign, which is a double bar line with the 2 extra dots on it. Then, if you just have a repeat sign, that just means that you're going to repeat all the way back to the beginning of the piece and then go through the entire thing over again. If you have something like this, where you have the repeat sign mirrored, you're going to play through that first measure, then you're going to play through these measures, repeat back to the repeat sign, and then all the way back to the ending there. Sometimes there are also first and second endings, so this would mean we go here, we go through the first ending right here, we repeat back to the repeat sign, then we skip over the first ending and go directly to the second ending. So on this, we would play measure 1, 2, 3. Then the second time through, we would go 2 to 4 is how we would end that piece right there. So we go straight to the second ending the second time. So let's move on to the next little bit. The second marking that indicate to repeat material already sung is the DC al fine. DC literally stands for da capo, which means the top. I like to think of like a little cap, which is on the top of your head, which means to go to the beginning of the piece and then sing to the finish. So al fine means to the finish. So here we see that the fine and the double bar line is right there. So we would go all the way through, we would go to the top, and then sing to the fine and stop right there at that double bar line. Similar to that is the dal segno al fine. So that means that we're going to go here all the way through. We're going to find the segno, which is this fancy little symbol right here, and then we're going to sing to the finish there. So we'd go all the way through, find the segno, and then go here to the fine right there. Now, there are a couple more that we can look at as well. Occasionally, you will see DC al coda or DS al coda towards the end of your music. When this happens, you will notice a separate section after this sign. This is the coda or the ending. What that marking means, after you return to the beginning or to the sign, you continue until you see the coda sign, then jump directly to the coda. So I like to kind of call these like musical portals right here. So on this, I would go here, then at this sort of double bar line, just not the bolded double bar line, I go back to the portal right there, and then I'm going to come back out this side. Okay, so in the examples below, write out the measures in the order in which they are performed. So on this one, I'm going to go 1, 2, then I go 3, 4, then I'm going to go back to the segno, which is measure 3, and then I finish on measure 3 because the fine is right there. In example 2, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we end up here. We go DC al coda, which means I go back to the top to the coda. So then I do measures 1 and 2 again. Then this portal takes me all the way to here. I skip this and I go through this dotted line and then out the other end. So then I go 1 to 2, which I have right here. Then I go to 5, 6, 7. I hit that repeat sign. I go back here. I do 6 again, and then I go to my second ending, which is 8. So that can be a little bit confusing whenever you have a lot of these markings, but it's important to know. Let me go back to this example right here, because I think I made a little bit of an error. So let's talk about this really quick. Just want to make sure that this is clear. So I start here. I go to da capo al coda. So that means I'm going to go back to the beginning. I find the coda, then I skip through here all the way back to the ending. So this one would go 1, 2, 3, measure 3. I go back to the coda. I do 1, then I go transfer through my portal to measure 4. Okay, so that is how all of these different road mapping signs work. Hopefully this makes sense. You'll have some of these on your quiz. Know not only what the symbol looks like, know what it does, and know the English definition. So DC means da capo, which means the top. Al means to the, and then coda, or to the fine. Okay, have a great day, everyone. We will see you soon.